Oh, sure, thank you.
All right. Well, let's get this party started. I think, yeah, these are just for, you can ship them home or whatever you want. So for all of you lovely, lovely ladies, so Dr. Jeannie Elm, I'm going to make you in mid-bite because you're leaving from here. So I have several questions for you, but I think the big one that we're all asking is, so you broke this amazing glass ceiling. What was the biggest issues you had doing it? And what advice you give to the women who are looking to change the profession?
That's a big question.
It is.
Because it was a process of being in practice with my husband, and you know, I joke and I say to women who aren't married yet, "Ooh, marry a chiropractor, makes it real easy." And for those who are married, you know what I mean. How you can move in and out of the practice. And then in the practice, we were just minding our own businesses, honestly, just, you know, in practice, great family practice, 6 kids of our own, pretty wild and crazy. And I met Larry Webster. And I mentioned this yesterday, and I'll say it again. You know, I said to Tom, I got a postcard in the mail to take these pediatric classes. And I said to Tom, I want to do this. And he goes, once a month, you want to travel 2.5 hours to New York? What are you talking about? And I said, I want to do this. So follow, you know, those prompts, because you never know where it's going to lead. And shortly after I got to know him and be involved with the board and whatnot, he passed, and that was a big loss. So the board became very, very active. I was on the board, and then when his wife retired, it moved to my office. I think the thing is say yes. Say yes. Yes. You know, and I don't mean to be a yes person to say yes to everything. Go in and feel it. You know, feel it. Is this right? Should I do it? And you know, I said yes, and it came very, very small, but I continued to listen throughout to that intuition. We all have it. And yesterday when I spoke about this, the more that you listen to it, the more you're connected with what it is best for you to do, to be at the right place at the right time, to recognize that, to make the decisions that are going to have a huge impact. And it's been 20 years since he's passed. 2002 is when it moved into our office, and has grown significantly with that. I know it's because it's a time when a lot of people are realizing, wow, we don't have the skills to take care of kids. And it's because, the other thing too, be passionate, or find your passion, what it is that you just know, yep. And there's principles associated with that passion as well. Along the ways, there'll be many opportunities or temptations or offers to compromise those principles and that integrity. It just happens. And that's okay, that's how the game rolls. And it might seem like an easier route to do that, but always step back and feel it and know it. Is this really accomplishing what I know is the highest principle to be accomplished here? And that's another thing that I've done. Have support people around you, people that you can trust, that you can connect with, that can say, hey, you're screwing up, or wow, you're doing good, you know, or how can I help you? We need help, and we need people that can be very, very open and honest with us. So I've had that. I have a phenomenal family who, you know, when they were little, they were like, are there any other letters in the alphabet besides ICPA? You know? Yeah, and they've gone through the pain with it too. And it is painful as a woman. You're missing birthdays and soccer games. You're missing relatives passing. You're missing a lot of things, you know. And there's a tear in our hearts with that, for sure, when that happens. I have a really, really supportive family that understands and has been with me along the whole road, and particularly Tom. I mean, he's just amazing. So, find the right people, connect with them. What success is or greatness for one person and what they accomplish, whatever that is not necessarily the same. And I remember years ago, and hear this well, I went to Arnaud Bernier, baby, I was probably pregnant, another one on my breast, and I'm saying, I know in my gut I'm going to be doing something for the profession. I feel like I have to just get out there and do it. And he looked at me and he said, Jeannie, stop. Look what you have right there. The love and the connection and the attention and the consciousness you have with them is irreplaceable. Do that now. Do that now. The time comes when the time's ready. So it's a balance, sometimes an erratic balance, but it's a balance. And find it. You'll know. You'll know inside yourself.
Thank you so much. The incredible Bobby Dash.
Okay. Well, mine's way different than Jeannie's. I'll probably cry. I haven't had the support at all.
We're here for you now.
Because, one, no one wanted to touch these children. And two, to gain a board that was willing to put their name on the line for these children. That took years. And my family thinks, I've always been too crazy. So, my sister-in-law's a great orthopedic nurse. That's how my brother met her when I needed the second knee surgery. And when I went to become a chiropractor, it was like I went to hell, right? So I don't have that support either. So it's been interesting. But I can only tell you, as Jeannie said, listen to the inner voice. And it's miraculous. The great ones always show up to help you and lead the way. I can't thank all of you in the room enough who have been there for me. Jeannie's been there for me. So has Terry down there. We've all moved it slowly ahead. All I can tell you is the life force heals within no matter what. And even Dr. Pat Gaiman has helped you. Everyone thinks you need a big plan and everything. And we'd get it in order and I'd be invited to Russia. So I'd say I'm in charge of a big ship and a big storm, and I hope we're going out of the storm pretty soon. It's our turn to do it. And it's never let me down. And when you go to give up, somebody either sent a wonderful donation or a child walked or the hearing came back or vision came in. And so it was like, okay, I'll go another day. And I thank all of you.
Thank you. It's incomparable, Irene Gold. Wisdom from you, the incomparable
Answer
Irene
to the
Gold.
question, what is the biggest challenge?
Oh, okay, that's fine. The biggest challenge, there are so many of them, but I'm just going to pick one I thought you might be interested in.
Thank you.
I was a teacher at Sherman College until 1978, and then I left to move to Pennsylvania. We opened up a new chiropractic college in Pennsylvania. Jeannie was one of my students at that school at that time. And when I left Sherman, I had already developed this program of license, just for people to get past the boards. And what happened was, when I moved to Pennsylvania, I had a new person helping me out, and I needed some money from the bank. So I went to the bank and I asked them for $5,000. And I said, I only want this $5,000 for 5 weeks, and I'm going to pay you back in 5 weeks. They said, fine, have your husband come in and sign the paper so you can get the $5,000. I said, it's not his program, it's my program. And I am the one that wants the $5,000, not him. He said, I'm going to tell you, we do not lend money to women. We have never lent money to women, and if you say this outside of this office, I will deny I ever said it. I signed over his car for $5,000. They gave me the $5,000. I paid it back in 5 weeks. 6 months later, I went back out to do it again. Send them in again. I had to, the only way I could get the $5,000, when I had shown that I owned a house and a car and everything. So I did that, paid him back in 5 weeks like I promised. And 6 months after that, he called me up and said, how much money do you want? I said, I don't need you anymore. So we've come a long way since then.
Wow.
And also, Oklahaven first building was bequeathed, that's why I was asked to go there. And it was getting to be in the ghetto a little, and we needed to get out. And when I went to the bank, they wouldn't give me any money. They wanted both our names. And I said, it's my thing. We have a board of directors, and they wouldn't give it. But finally, I went to every bank, and one man said, when I was a little boy, and he walked with a limp, I was very sick and had polio, and the chiropractor helped me. What do you need?
In the middle of all this, nowhere else in chiropractic can such a diverse set of women from such diverse things would sit on a panel together. Would you guys ever see this? You guys all know everybody is in all different directions, but these are all incredible women. I would like to thank you all for being such a class act, because isn't this amazing? We're done fighting amongst ourselves like this for the detriment of chiropractic in the world. And I'm thanking you guys for this. All right. Amanda Appleblatt. Let's hear from you.
So my biggest struggle, and I love chiropractic, and I eat, breathe, sleep chiropractic. I'm so honored to be in a room with everyone here. Something that I have learned, because I don't want to say chiropractic is easy for me, but it's natural for me. And I love chiropractic. I love interacting with my patients and my community. My big struggle that I've learned about, and I'm so glad to be a part of this group, is the word politics. When I was growing up, I guess I grew up in a bubble, but do unto others and be a good person and do the right thing, and everything will be okay. And then I became an adult, and I realized that is not always the case out there. So I've had so many stop signs and so many roadblocks, and the one thing that I would say to everyone here is to reach out and to ask for help and to get a support team of women or chiropractors or your family, your friends, who truly are good people, who care about you and who support you, that you can talk to and you can create a team and you can take on challenges together. I can't even believe what you've done in the past year with women chiropractors and where we are now. And I hear your struggles, I'm like, oh my goodness, my struggle compared to your struggle. But this is where we're going now, and we're gonna have women in leadership, and we want to have the right women in leadership and good people in leadership, and I'm so honored to be here. So that's my biggest struggle, I would say, is politics.
Deborah Hoffman back here.
It's a tough question in terms of how do you move into these different positions, and I think if anything else is you just show up and you work. I think we're all workers, you know. We all know if you want a job done, give it to a woman, right?
Yeah.
And it'll be done right. I think for me, I came from a very poor background. My mother, she just passed in January. She was the only girl with 5 brothers, and her father made her quit school in 8th grade because it wasn't important for her to have an education. It was more important for her to work so the boys could have an education. So moved forward in the 50s, and she was a single mom with 2 girls trying to raise on an 8th grade education. So she had no choices. So what she hammered into me was get an education, get an education, get an education. You don't have to use it, but they can't take it from you. So that was my mantra. And I think all of us, please continue to be a lifetime learner, because it doesn't stop when we get our license. That's when it begins. In terms of the positions, I think Susan and I both came out of chiropractic school in 1980. There were 50 women in the chiropractic college. I graduated from Logan, so there were about 600 or 800. I don't know what the college size was then, but there were 50 women. We had 15 women that started in my class of 150. We graduated 9, and 100 men. So there weren't a lot of women. So that was a different time that I think, I had a guy come up to me the morning that we graduated, and he said, I want you to know I'm really proud of you. And I said, well, thank you, I'm proud of you too. And he said, no, he said, I thought you were here looking for a husband, it was just taking you longer. So I don't think that we were necessarily, given the credence that we were there for a bigger purpose. I think that we are all called to this profession by a divine calling. And just as you said, look within and let that lead. Let it lead your heart.
Wow. Oh, if you'd have told me 40 years ago I was going to be in the College of Medicine, Department of Neurosurgery and Brain Repair, I'd say, give me a drink out of that bottle. Kelly, I drank out of that bottle. And it was just work. It's a passion. It's what you want to do. And I've got a great chair. Any Florida graduates here? My chair came to Orlando a month ago and actually spoke to the chiropractic group of 1,500 people and talked about how passionate he was. He is a brain surgeon, how passionate he was about chiropractic. Now, if you would have told me that in 1980, I would have said, give me another drink out of that. So, my first love was sports. I did the first chiropractor in the NHL, NFL, AFL, and a female. And then I kind of transitioned into what I'm doing now, which is at the college, still teaching clinical faculty and now research. And I don't know if you heard that yesterday, but we were able to move a huge $2 million grant into my department to start doing concussion research using chiropractic care on upper cervical. It is passionate. Like you said, it's passion. It's what you really want to do. And the $5,000, I remember going to the bank and they wouldn't give me the $5,000. My dad had to sign. I hadn't thought of that until you said that. So he had to come down from Moline, Illinois and actually sign the $5,000 note. But yeah, so keep the faith, it'll happen. And there's people like these two who make it work. That's it.
Dr. Sharon Allison.
Well, look at that. Wow. First, I want to say to everyone in this room, it's my greatest honor to be here. My mom, it was my biggest supporter. Having heard your story makes me go, whew, and she's no longer with me, so I'm constantly asking myself one question: are you doing enough? Every day you wake up and you ask, am I enough? Am I doing more? Can I do more? How much more can I do? So I step back and I think when you have one of the greatest supporters in your life, find out who they are, because the darkest moments, you got to go to them. And that was my mom, now it's my husband. And to have someone who's so deep in the trenches with you on a daily basis, I'll tell you, I didn't get that together. The heart, being in media is absolutely 100% brutal. The comments, the statements, the places that you go, I'd like to say it's beautiful and fabulous, but it's so hard because haters are gonna hate. And so when I have to step into the arena and represent the chiropractic profession, I have to remember it's not about me, it's about this.
It's about the women and the men that are changing lives every single day. And the second thing I would like you to remember as you go on your journey is bring them with you. Everywhere you go, every opportunity you have, take someone that you love, care, and absolutely believe in with you. And they support you. The politics is real. There's at the end of the table, I totally get it. My entire executive council is all men, and they're fabulous men. They're men that will stand up for a woman in a heartbeat. So I don't have that, well, men are demeaning or men are negative. I don't have that. I have some fabulous, really smart businessmen that are ready to give a woman a chance. Monty Greenwald is what started the Foundation for Chiropractic Progress, and he did so because it was painful for him to have his son be at a swimming meet and be called a quack, and the little 9-year-old thinking, I don't even know what that means. And Monty's the reason why I stepped up for Kent. When Kent said, are you okay to do this? I said, absolutely. There has to be a yes there, because why would you be called to the table and not want to experience it? When you're called to the table, eat everything. Taste it just a little bit. You might not like it, but you at least know now that you don't like it. That's what I tell my 14 and 16-year-olds. And it's such a pleasure. Each and every one of you make a difference. Your hands change lives. And my greatest opportunity and challenge is to be in a room of academic men and women that have nothing, no understanding of chiropractic. And they're Ivy Leaguers, medical schools, and you sit down with them and they're starting to be vulnerable because they now see the opportunity that chiropractic presents. That's our greatest moment. We're gonna swoop it in, we're gonna love it, and we're gonna build on it. So have the power in you to use those hands and be so very proud. And thank you for having me, Nicole.
Thank you. Oh gosh, this is just amazing. First of all, Cindy, I'd like to thank you so much for putting this board together and organizing all of this and getting together a group of women. I think that the time is long overdue for us to have something like this, right? Yes, I think you deserve another round of applause for that. I think the conference has been fantastic, and I'm just so honored to be here and to receive this. This is really special and wonderful, and to be considered a glass ceiling breaker. And you know, when you first said it, I thought, what does that mean? You know, how have I even done this? And a glass ceiling is really an invisible barrier. So it's something that maybe was put there for us as women, or we can put it there ourselves. And it's a matter of looking at your life and your surroundings and how are we going to blast through that, to never let a barrier stand in your way. And I really felt from the time I was a child that wouldn't exist and that didn't exist. But as I look back through the years, I see, and as I listen to the other women, yeah, I see, Irene, you didn't get the loan, and I see, and these things happen in all of our lives. And even when I was a child and you didn't want to be the pretty one, I needed to be the state champion gymnast, and I needed to be the entrepreneur, and I needed to be, because you want to be more than. You want to be good at math and science, and I wanted to push the envelope and always see that so that I could set that ceiling higher and higher. So for my friends in chiropractic college in the back, setting goals when you're there was an awesome opportunity to say, okay, I'm going to make it through student clinic and outpatient clinic faster than anyone else has in the history of university. And I did. And I'm going to make the ICA chapter become the president, make it bigger than it's ever been before. And you know what? Dr. Sid was never happier. We grew it and grew it. I'm going to start the pediatrics club. We did that. I'm going to be president of the motion palpation club. We did that.
as soon as I graduate, I'm gonna take the world by storm. And I did my best to do that. And went back to New Jersey, settled in with my husband, started our practice, got to our first chamber meeting, the board's introducing us, and this is Dr. Warner, and they just opened, pediatric chiropractic clinic and blah, blah, blah. And they turned to my husband and said, "Hello, Dr. Warner, it's so nice to meet you. What does your wife do?" And so we got a lot of that, right? This is 25 years ago. The times, they are changing. And women, we have come a long way, baby. And the ceiling we have blasted through, and I think that we just get higher and higher. Within a few years, I was out at the United Nations and presenting for a White House commission, and then bringing chiropractic, and for chiropractors, bringing us to a spot where I didn't want to be relegated as introduced by a chamber member, oh, this is the doctor. I wanted to position us so that we were leading these events. Chiropractors leading health and wellness, children's health and wellness expos for their community, leading Kids Day America and International for their communities, becoming the go-to doc, bringing us into the media so that we're not seen as a second-class citizen, which is where I grew up, living next to an old school husband and wife chiropractor back in the 70s, and I saw what it was like. Their kids were my best friends. I grew up in their office. We have come a long way, but we have a long way yet to go. And so getting chiropractic into the media has been important as well. And I'm so happy to see, being on The Doctors and having a segment on chiropractic for newborns and the importance of that. Bringing it to the mass media where millions of people will be able to see us and are seeing us now on a daily basis. So I just am so proud of us as women chiropractors, so proud of where we've come and the future of where we can lead our world and lead the next generation. I just see that the future is so bright. And with these women and all of you and working together and growing this movement to work alongside our husbands, our friends, our colleagues, to bring chiropractic to its rightful place, to the mountaintop, make the next generation the greatest generation, and make Mabel and Agnes and our history that Bobby went through so eloquently last night, the history of women chiropractors, proud of where we have come and where we have yet to go. So ladies, I thank you so much for including me on this panel, so much for being on this journey with me, and I'm so proud of all of us for where we have yet to go. Thank you so much.
And follow up all this. Oh, Donna. This is, I've known Donna since pre-conception. Our mothers were best friends. And
Sisters.
yes, and they were sisters in a family of 12 siblings. And so Donna and I have always done stuff together, and it's just, our journey has been different and the same. And I'm so honored that you're here.
Thank you. I first need to explain, I wasn't poo-pooing this. This is phenomenal. I just am part of budget, and I'm like, don't buy it instead of money on me. She does great stuff. Sounds like you. So, I guess the biggest thing is to work hard, show up. Huge. I never said, hey, I want to be on the board of chiropractic. I want to be president of national boards. I want to do this. I showed up at district meetings in my state organization. I did my practice. I was taking care of kids. I grew up in a chiropractic care with Cindy's dad and Nancy's dad. My parents weren't educated. See, it makes me emotional. Work hard. Every time I went to school, my dad would say, keep on trucking. Don't give up. But I'm sorry. Anyways. go to meetings, and someone says, I'd like to put your name up for the Board of Chiropractic. Okay, I have no idea what I'm getting into. And then, you get involved, I was like, that's not right. Amanda, right? That's not right. Yeah, Jim Chester said, how did you decide you wanted to be in politics? Did I decide that? And so you do your best, you work hard. You go to other meetings, you meet other people, and it's like, we'd really like to put your name up for national board. It's like, really? Okay, I guess. You get on there and you work hard and you're like, you did what? They did what? What? You said what? It's like, that's not right, And so you do your best, you're honest, you work hard, and then as I was getting done with that, I had the opportunity to be president, and you lead with a group, like Jean said. My executive board on national board, the president could make all these decisions. No, I called every executive committee. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Executive board, we made decisions as a group. It's not a one-person thing. And I had a great executive board. I was the only female at the time on the board. And so, good experiences. But there are the negatives. I've had people call my friends and say, hey, Donna's a two-headed snake. Oh, that makes me feel good. There's that kind of stuff too. And you just have to do what you know is right and work hard at it. And so then I was at meetings, and I don't know if any of you know Arlen and Judy Ford with Activator. Her and I talked about putting on a conference for women someday. Wouldn't it be cool to have an all-female thing? And then got involved with the women chiropractors with Cindy, and we did decided to do this. So I'm really honored and so happy all of you are here. So work hard, keep on track, and the other thing that was really cool that one of you said is, so when my husband and I decided to do a endowment to the Women's Institute for Palmer, they asked me to come out and do a talk to the students. And so I was putting things together, and it was like, what do I want to talk about? And my title of my speech was, just say yes, don't say no. If someone gives you that opportunity, look at it and you're like, timing is everything. I would have never been able to do this 25 years ago. Thank you.
We've blocked out till 9:30 to talk to these wonderful women, but we will break at about 5 minutes to 9 for those who want to attend Lacey Book's class. We want to still continue talking to you ladies and just discussing more questions, but those that need continuing ed or would like to step out, we'll block that 5 minutes out.
You want to say one more thing I forgot to tell you is my chair of neurosurgery has empowered me to hire more chiropractors in our department. Well, I've hired one. Who are the students in the back? I need to hire 4 more in the next year.
I have something to add. My job was to be the healer too, the chiropractor. And I would go to the state associations and the meetings and all the arguing and maybe to the state, and you'd come home exhausted, that you couldn't get back focused to do what you had to do. And what the most profoundly hurt child, I had to be focused. So many times I would go and they would just not give you a turn. It was fascinating. Then we had 5 chiropractic associations in Oklahoma suing one another. And if I went to one group, I wasn't allowed to go to the other. And, oh my God, it went on. We now have 2 groups, of which one wants to charge us thousands of dollars for us to go, so I just don't go. It breaks my heart, but you still have to be the chiropractor. So just show up when you can.
Show up when you can.
Yeah.
I grew up, my dad was a chiropractor, and I grew up with a lot of, your dad is a quack. That was my reality of growing up all the time. But the revenge is that most of those people that were the most anti-chiropractic and really trying to rub it in my face ended up being my dad's biggest miracles. And I knew it was wrong of them because I knew the magic of chiropractic. I knew what it felt like when I got adjusted. But the dream of founding a women chiropractic organization was from my parents years and years ago, because their first chiropractor was a female. And they never thought that that was an issue. And the first women chiropractic organization, like I said, we ended up at the Parker seminar, and Jim Parker was the president of the Women Chiropractors Club. Women Doctors Club. And his son was the vice president. When I bought the .org, I want you guys to understand, I bought it years ago to protect it from people who would end up raping and pillaging it for their own good. I just wanted to protect it. I didn't want people to go through, the younger doctors to go through the struggles some of us who have been in practice a long time have. But you know what? Just founding this, you guys have no idea how much pushback, how many cruel things have been said behind the scenes to us. Why do we have to have a Women Chiropractors Association? We don't need a Women Chiropractors Association. There have been great supporters, but you guys have to understand it's still there. And we're breaking through that with this amazing conference. You know, Dr. Rose and I stood up before a group of people, and we're not going to name names, and everybody was Dr. So-and-so, Dr. So-and-so. Rosemary and Cindy. This was 2 years ago, wasn't it? 2-3 years ago. A year ago, we're Rosemary and Cindy. And it's happened just again. It hasn't gone away. And we've all had slights, and we're changing that, because this is a big sonic blast into the profession that's saying, we can't just afford to just say, oh, it's just this little women's problem. It's just this little women's group. It's just this little thing that we can ignore. Yeah, this little support group of women who sit around and drink coffee and shop. And we do that. We love that, right? But we also don't, you know, we're not big hunters. And that's their issue, too, because we're all different and all diverse. But I just like to thank you all. And I want to have this courageous board of ours to stand up, because I have an award to give them. And we promise you we're done with awards
Dr.
after this.
I don't want you to stop. When I graduated, I met you, many of you, for the first time. I met Dr. Bobby as a sorority sister when I was in school. Irene Gold helped me pass my boards so I could practice. But don't stop, because this is just the beginning, and I want to say this is going to be a global, international thing, because when I travel with my husband, he is president of a company, he works for an Austrian company. When I go there, he gets my title, and it's a joke, and he likes to chide me because he knows how important and how hard I work, because he helps me. But when we go there, it's Herr President Dr. Kyle Kimmel und Mama. So don't stop. There are chiropractors in other countries, and you're going to help them.
Our board here, please come on, stand up here. We want a photo op. Come on up here, everybody on the board.
And in between, would anyone like to win a Cape Cod vacation?
And for this board, while Women Chiropractors Board comes up here, do you have questions of this amazing panel? And by the way, thank you all, are incredible. Thank you for traveling. Many of you travel long distance just for this, and it was so worth it. Do you have any questions from the audience? Any questions?
Who won the vacation?
Okay, first I'd like to thank so much Jennifer D'Angelo from Heartland, D'Angelo Solutions. Heartland provides simple, secure payment solutions for chiropractors. Thank you so much for sponsoring this vacation. You are amazing. Please stand up so we can all
Okay, yeah, we can do the photo later.
Any questions before?
Yeah, any more questions?
Our winner is?
Yes.
Kathy Buford.
Sorry. Any more, because you guys are the ones who are gonna come step up too, right? That's just a couple of us. Any more questions, comments?
So I
They're
have
pretty,
I have a question for Dr. Meza. So you talked about politics for the younger doctors and the new soon-to-be doctors.
Oh, it's mine.
Do you see a way that they can help change the politics, or even for us more seasoned doctors, how we can affect the politics of chiropractic and our communities?
Absolutely. Go to your state association meetings, be a part of the conversation. Join organizations, join groups that can help to support your communities, help to support the schools, the chiropractic colleges. Be the change. We just need enough women to step up. We need to step up and work hard and take that action. And I understand that especially younger doctors are starting out. You don't have a lot of time to do that. Now there's so much that's online, and you can still be literally 100% in that conversation now. So go online, be a part of Facebook groups. Make sure that you voice your opinion.
anybody else?
I have an answer to that. I used to find a charity or something in your community you love. The Girl Scouts are part of my family, the family, is in New York. And go there. I was on the national board for a camp, and it's a gas when you're on these boards. First, show up and say, I'll give you an hour of my time every Tuesday or whenever you can do it. Then all of a sudden you give them a donation and they like you, and the first thing you know, you're on their board. So then you have an opinion. And they were taking these indigent children to camp, and they were serving them Kool-Aid and stuff, and it's like, we're going to camp, why not water? And the board looks at you like, water? Or there was a list this long of the medications the children were on that they were taking them to camp. And it was like, do you realize the responsibility we're taking with these children on this much medication and saying what it is? Well, these board members who are community leaders are shocked. So speak up, speak your truth, and you educate. And then you're walking down the street and years later they say, I was at the doctor's and they tried to give me all that medicine. You were in the back of my head. So have fun with them and tell our way of life.
And I'd just like to say too, when you're talking about the donation, I like you. I'm a giver, but I would like to say that when you're looking into where to give, there are so many organizations that for what they stand for, I absolutely love and adore, but know who the board or the decision makers are on that board who are utilizing and spending that money. Know who they are, but when you're giving to the different causes too. It's really important.
Pick their brains. Well, if we don't have any more questions, I would like our board now to come up. Our board is gone? Yeah. No, that's okay. Can we take a group shot with the ladies instead?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. If everybody wants to come behind that, we can or maybe where's Jonathan? How do you want to do it?
That's fine.
I'm sitting
Yeah, Bobby.
I got breakfast.
Ladies, attention here. If you are looking at the back of someone's head, I cannot see you.
Monica.
Right in between. See everybody? Okay, everyone looking right here at me. Great big smiles, everyone looks great.
This is for Herstory girls, smile.
It's gonna be one of those sepia tone photographs in museums.